What is going on, everybody? It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in the great state of Tennessee. I hope that your Sunday is going as well as mine is. Um, Today, I'm going to make up for last week. I missed out on last week. Life of a college senior, you have other stuff that you have to put in front of these online reviews, and so that's what happened. But today, you're getting a double review. A double review. I promised you guys the Kamelot album, and I listened to it, and to be honest, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I'll get to that in a second. As always, I want to welcome everybody new, maybe viewing these reviews for the first time. Welcome. To all of you who have been with me from the beginning, which, let's be honest, it hasn't been that long, but thanks anyway. You guys rock. So let's get into it. Kamelot's The Shadow Theory. Really interesting album. The dynamics of this album, they play off of each other very well. You had a lot of really lighter stuff, and there was a lot of the heavier stuff. And to be honest, Kamelot, I went into this thinking that this was going to be a lot heavier than it was. I had not previously heard anything by Kamelot. I didn't realize how much of a symphonic band that they are. And it's something that really, really drives the band, I feel, to create things that are interesting when they're interesting and sort of meh when they're not. Not going to put this one out there as an album of the year contender purely because it just didn't grab its hooks into me. It's got some good songs on it. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad album, okay? It's just not, it doesn't flow like I feel like it should. You have the first song, The Mission, which is instrumental, and it's this beautiful symphonic piece that's just really nice. And then you have Phantom Divine, Shadow Empire, which was a pretty good song. I liked it. Ravenlight was sort of meh. Amnesiac. Good song, catchy chorus, some good hooks in there, good riffs. Side note, solos on this album, fantastic. I love the guitar solos on this album, just wonderfully done. The fifth song on the album, Birds to Embrace, my favorite song off of the album. I loved everything about this song from the beginning, which was sort of this softer thing. It built up to this really powerful chorus that really stuck in my head, and now I find myself singing it a lot. It's just that good. In Twilight Hours, the song after that, probably my second favorite song off the album. Beautiful, really not heavy at all, but just this gorgeous piano-driven piece that's just wonderful to listen to. Kevlar Skin, another song like Ravenlight that was kind of, yeah, it's okay. It's not really anything special. Static, good song, loved it. And then from there, the album just sort of petered out. The only other good song on the album, I thought, was Vespertine, My Crimson Bride. And it was a good song. But Mindful Remedy, Stories Unheard, The Proud and the Broken, they weren't bad. They just weren't necessarily wonderful. So in the end, an okay album. Not an album of the year contender. Probably not one I'm going to pick up just for 2 or 3 songs that I liked off of it. In the end, I'm going to give this one an 83 out of 100 on the YPS, the Yearly Perfection Scale. So, end of part 1 of the review. Part 2, Breaking Benjamin's Ember. The album is outstanding. It's probably one of their best. However, and I may tick off any Breaking Benjamin fans watching this who liked Ember better, but I'm going to say this. It wasn't as good as Dark Before Dawn. It wasn't. It was awesome. It was a fantastic album, don't get me wrong. But Dark Before Dawn just had this aura about it that was just wonderful. This album, you knew it was coming, and it was really, same old Breaking Benjamin. Wonderful choruses, fantastic musical work, really confusing lyricism from Ben Burnley, but it just didn't have that oomph I felt that Dark Before Dawn did. Now, that's not to say that Ember is just horrible as an album. It is not at all. It's one of my favorites. It's going to be an album of the year contender. But it just didn't have what Dark Before Dawn did. And I think that's because Dark Before Dawn, you had the band coming out of this hiatus. You didn't know where the band was going to go. And then they announced this new album, and everybody freaks out about it. And it's an amazing album, and it's wonderful. Now you have the band just sort of going along and going, dare I say, through the motions a little bit. If the motions create music this fantastic, then I'm good with the motions. But it just didn't have the same fire, I thought, that Dark Before Dawn did. Great album, didn't have the same fire as Dark Before Dawn. However, that is not going to hurt it in the YPS standings. Not at all, let me tell you. This album, Ember by Breaking Benjamin, getting a 98 out of 100 on the YPS scale. All right, that does it. Double album review for you guys today. Kamelot's The Shadow Theory, Breaking Benjamin's Ember, and hopefully I won't have to do this double review thing again. Hopefully not, because it's really packed. Graduating in 3 weeks, and it's go time for me, So we may end up doing another double review at some point. That may just be a thing that we do. Now, next week, we are going to be taking a look. Next week, we're going to be taking a look at Tesseract's Sonder. Now, it's a difficult decision because Tesseract and A Perfect Circle both have albums coming out on the same day, and I may do another double album review next week and do both albums. I don't know. I'm not a huge A Perfect Circle fan. It's just not my kind of music. Tesseract have been impressing me with the stuff they've been releasing so far off of Sonder, so we will see. Or I may do Tesseract as a main review and A Perfect Circle as sort of a side review, or vice versa. We'll see. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see y'all next week.